Hello, this is Leah Bain with Monarch Ministry. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, what's up, you guys? I just want to thank you all so much for sewing into the channel. It has been an incredible help through this time. I didn't know what we were going to do, and I just want to say again, thank you so much. I am so grateful. And I bless every seed that has been sown, and may you reap 100-fold in the name of Jesus. The Lord said exposure, and I'm going to read you the definition of exposure. But I looked it up in the Bible, and Luke 12:2-3 says, "There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What you have said in the dark will be heard in the daylight, and what you have whispered in the ear in the inner rooms will be proclaimed from the roofs." So what's done in the dark comes to light. Also, let me figure out, how do you work this thing? Y'all, I'm using my daughter's phone, and it's an iPhone. And I don't use an iPhone. How do you go back? Hang on. Okay, so the definition of exposure: the fact or condition of being exposed, such as the condition of being presented to view or made known. Example, a politician seeks a lot of exposure. So there's two sides to this, because he did not specify whether it was this aspect or the act or instance of exposing, such as a disclosure of something secret. So that verse talks about what's done in the dark comes to light. So you're going to be finding out things that you have long had questions about, and people are going to be coming forward with information that is going to give you closure. And it may hurt. Some of this may hurt. But it's the truth, and the truth will set you free. You're going to be set free by these things that have long plagued your heart and your mind. And pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to what people are saying, especially people that you know. But this could happen out of the blue. It could be unexpected. Someone may just give you some information that you had no idea about, that you've been wondering about for a long time, and things that you had questions about are going to be revealed, and the puzzle pieces are going to start to connect, and you're going to receive clarity and closure through these things. The truth will set you free. The other aspect of it, like it said, what does it say? It said a politician seeks a lot of exposure, is that you're going to be getting, some of you may be getting a lot of exposure, whether this is negative attention or positive attention. It's still going to give you exposure. And we don't know the ways that God works, but you're going to be on people's minds, and people are going to hear about you, and it's going to get you out in the open. It's going to get your name on people's lips. They will be talking about you. So that's for like the personal side of it. But this is on a large scale. There are many more things that are going to be coming out about large entities in the news, and you're going to be seeing more and more exposure of things that have been done in the dark that people have been trying to hide. And things are going to start to click and make sense. And you're going to need to pay attention to these things and use your discernment and take these things back to the Lord, because not everything you hear, especially on the news, is real or true. So I personally don't watch TV at all. I haven't in like 7 or 8 years. Well, maybe less than that, 5 or 6 years. So I definitely don't watch the news. I usually don't even know about something unless I see it on YouTube or TikTok. And I like to keep it that way. If I need to know something, the Lord is going to show me. But he showed me the story of Mordecai and Haman. And I thought that was a good example of exposure, because there's 2 sides to that story in Esther chapter, let me see if I can find it. I just had it a minute ago. Anyways, so Haman, let me just find it so I can remember what I'm trying to say. Just hang on 1 second, okay? Sorry. I had it. I was reading it all morning for the umpteenth time. Okay, the king couldn't sleep. In chapter 6, it talks about how the king couldn't sleep, and the spirit was stirring him to check the chronicles, because he could feel like there was something missing. And so he sent his eunuch or somebody to go get the chronicles to read them to him. And he found out that Mordecai saved his life. And he was like, well, what's been done for Mordecai for saving my life? And they were like, nothing. So Haman had come into the courtyard and was going to tell the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him, because he didn't like Mordecai, and he thought that Mordecai needed to die because Mordecai would not bow down to him after the king had gave him honor or whatever. Everywhere he went, people were bowing down to him, but Mordecai wasn't giving the time of day, and it made Haman really angry. And so he wanted to kill him. So he came to tell the king, let's hang him on the gallows. Well, he was there, and the king was like, well, hey, what would you do for someone who saved the king's life? And Haman was like, oh, well, I would parade him around on a horse and, have everyone see who he is and give him exposure, good exposure. So everyone could see that this was the king's, right-hand man. The king was very pleased with him and had favor with him and all this stuff. So he was like, excellent, do that for Mordecai. Well, Haman was like, what? Because he thought that the king was talking about him. And he's like, well, and the king was like, great, do that for Mordecai. So Mordecai was pranced around on a horse, and they were like, hail Mordecai or whatever. He was, and so he got good exposure. Well, Haman got invited to Esther's banquet, and Esther got wind of Haman's plan. And at the banquet, she tells the king what Haman's big plan was to kill all the Jews, and the king was really upset. And so he ended up getting exposed by Esther. The Lord chose her for that, to expose his big plan to save the Jews. And he gets hanged on the same gallows that he had put up for Mordecai. So there was good exposure for Mordecai. And then the evil was exposed in Haman's plan. And that's a good example of what the Lord is doing. There's always two sides to everything, and there's always good and evil. There's always lightness and darkness, so you're going to be seeing things coming out in your own life, in politics, in the elite world, everywhere. It's happening right now, and it's already been happening. But you're going to get some answers for you. You're going to get some answers. Just believe. If you've been believing for God to bring you answers about something that's been on your heart, you will be getting answers, if you haven't already, in the near future. And some of you are going to be rewarded with exposure in the public, and He's going to lift you up. So that's it for the word. I love you all so much with the love of Christ. If this word has blessed you, consider partnering with me. There's information in the description box below. I bless every seed that is sown into this ministry, and I am so grateful for the Lord using each and every one of you in that way. I love you all so much with the love of Christ. Have a blessed day. Bye.